Buddy Steve Ford joins us in studio. Steve, of course, the author of Bosse Field, the third oldest ballpark in the United States, turns 100. How's things going with the book, by the way?
Oh, it's been fun. It was just too bad on the 100th anniversary night, June 17th, that it rained. And not only did it rain, it rained.
Yeah, we were there, yeah.
No, I know you were. Yeah, and it was, it held the crowd down, the big, reenactment of the first picture and stuff. Instead of having 8,000 people there, they had 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I was amazed that many turned out with the weather and everything the way it was. But, no, there'll be a few more book signs. I got one in Mount Vernon, and I think it's Alexandria Library coming up in August, and there'll be a few more around town that I haven't really, finalized setting up, so I couldn't, mention them. But it's been fun.
Yeah, it's a great book, and it's very informative, and it just was fun you gave us a copy to look through before you came by a few months ago to talk about it, and it's still available at the Otters gift shop.
Yeah, it's still available at the Otters in their gift shop, where you can get it for $40 and not pay sales tax. If you get it at Barnes & Noble or through the publisher, MT Publishing, which is right here in Evansville, does a lot of good commemorative books. Amazon is another place you can get it. It's also available at the Evansville Museum. That's hard for me to say, but, so it's out there, and it's moving. It's still selling, and which makes it fun. So and I went to the library the other day because I'd never seen anything of my own at the library, and it was checked out. So I didn't get to see it. But
that's a good sign.
But it was checked out, so that was pretty cool.
I'm trying to figure out though. $40.
Yeah,
you charged me $75.
Oh,
for my copy.
Yours was autographed though, wasn't it? Isn't that? No, was it not?
I don't know if you call that an autograph. I can't put it on the radio. Let's say I can't read it on the radio.
I just put Ford in there, so it was kind of non-committal.
Well, did you look? Maybe yours has the golden ticket that lets you into the chocolate factory. Maybe that's how yours.
No, I think mine was. I never liked you anyway. Here.
Have you? Did that give you any desire to? Are you any interest in writing another book at some point?
Oh yeah, I've got one. I'd like to say it's in the works. I've done a little preliminary with it, and I've have a title. But all it's going to be is a collection of outdoor columns and stuff. I've written outdoors in the local newspapers. It was the Courier, the Sunday Courier-Press, and now the Evansville Courier-Press on Sundays. And we used to be in there every week. Now Phil Potter and I alternate weeks. They had a change of ownership at the paper, and they cut down on, their outdoors coverage, which was, their prerogative, obviously. But now we do it every other week, and I'm going to go back in a collection of those, go back and pick out some of the best, because I've had a lot of positive feedback through the years about the outdoors and the stuff I've done there. And the name of it is going to be Catch and Re-Release. So
I see what you did there. Yeah, very nice, sir.
That was
well
clever.
Played.
Clever, yeah.
I knew you had it in you.
Yeah. I appreciate that, Jimmy, my brother from another mother.
Ford and O'Brien, ESPN Evansville 105.3 online, ESPNEvansville.com. Steve Ford joins us. And you didn't come back to talk about the Bosse Field book. I wanted to bring it up because I was curious as to how things were going with that. But we wanted to bring you in because you've got an event coming up this weekend that you've done for over 25 years now out at Garvin Park. It's a fishing expo.
Well,
maybe you can explain it a little bit better than I can.
Allow me, Ryan.
Please,
if
please.
So
I'll just sit back and listen.
Because so often people don't give it the right name. It's the July 4th Fishing Derby for kids. And we've done it. This will be the 26th. Last year was our 25th anniversary. It will be Saturday morning at the east end of Garvin Park Lake. The registration, excuse me, I was going to say administration. That makes no sense whatsoever.
You're the administration.
Yes,
it's
I
your
am
thing.
the administration. I've done it all those 26 years. But the registration's at the east end of the lake. We start the registration at 8:30 a.m., and then the derby itself runs from 9 until 11 a.m. At the conclusion of it, we have a bunch of stuff we give away to the kids. Every kid gets a little tackle box, soft drink, candy. We hand out a bunch of things, and then we give out 3 trophies in 3 different age groups, one due in each age group to a champion, one to a runner-up, and one for the big fish in each age group. And we do that on the length. We don't do it on weight because that's too hard to do with, if there's 150 kids there, it'd be impossible to weigh everything. So we just measure the fish, put them on their entry card, and then throw the fish back in the lake unless they want to keep them. They have that option. And then the winner is determined by the total inches of fish they catch. In some years, that's a couple hundred inches of fish. There's kids out there that have caught 50, 60 fish over the course of 2 hours. They're all small bluegill usually at Garvin Park, but that's still a lot of fish, a lot of fun for a young kid.
Get out in the middle, you catch a bicycle. You used to be able to 2 years ago.
Among other things. Yeah.
So how did this get started for you 26 years ago? Was this your idea, or did somebody come to you and say, hey, I was thinking about doing this. Can you help me out?
Yeah, there's a former city councilman. His name was Sonny Laughlin. And through I think it was the Veterans Leadership Council, they asked him to put on a fishing derby through the old Freedom Festival. And I knew Sonny's daughter. She worked at the paper where I worked. And she suggested that Sonny call me to help, and I helped. And so the first year, that was the only year the Veterans Leadership Council decided to do it. And the following year, I had some parents and kids that say, well, are you going to do that again this year? And so I thought, yeah, okay, why not? And we just went out and, I got some help from friends, and we got volunteers, a few donations, and we just did it and continued it and gave away whatever we collected in the in the way of donations. And, we had 50 or 60 kids show up. And, we've had as many as almost 200 some years. And we managed to somehow give everybody something. And we give away a lot of bigger prizes when we're totaling up the final totals to see who wins the trophies, which really make a big deal to the kids. We have a free raffle, where we give away bigger prizes like rods and reels and stuffed tackle boxes or fishing hats. Just whatever people give us, we just give back to the kids.
You've done outdoor stuff, like you say. It's been 25, 30 years you've done this for the Courier.
36.
Okay, all right.
I'm old, Jimmy.
Well, I'm old.
You already made that point when I walked in the door, and I appreciate it.
Well, you wouldn't think it was me if I didn't greet you pretty much the same way.
Yeah.
But no, you've covered Hovey Lake, all the areas, all around. And there's been a lot of stuff about environment over the years and this and that. The outdoors, the fishing, the hunting, things like that. Is our area still, there's still a lot of nice places to go. And I guess the point I'm trying to make, going with a real long way around it.
We got time.
Is the environment affecting, have you noticed a change?
Oh, not around here. On a year-to-year basis, a couple years ago when they had the Romaine Buick golf tournament out at United Leasing. It's the United Leasing Classic or whatever. And it was 105 degrees every day out there. So you see these blips on the radar, but year to year, like this year, it's been very wet, mild almost at times. We had a week in the 90s or whatever, but the fish will come out and hit in this kind of weather. You can catch fish all summer. The Ohio River, it's a little up and muddy now, but this time of the year when it gets down to pool, it's a very good fishing area. And you have a lot of different things you can fish for in the river. There's dozens or hundreds of species. Not all of them are sport fish, but there's a lot of things in the river that are fun to catch.
Is it just fairy tales, or is it true that they got catfish in the river as big as people? I've heard that when they built like the Indiana-Kentucky bridges and things, you heard about different stuff. Now, I've seen the biggest catfish I've seen pulled out was at Diamond Lake years ago when I was a kid, and I think it was a 52-pound catfish.
Oh, they're bigger than that. There's a guy named he's deceased now. His name was Bruce Midkiff, and he lived in Owensboro, and I did a story about him once. He caught a 107-pound blue catfish, below Cannleton Dam, and it's the state record for catfish in both Kentucky and Indiana because they share the water, so it qualifies as a state record for both states because it's a border lake or border body of water, border fishery. So they share regulations and they share the use of the state. You can fish in the Ohio River with a Kentucky or an Indiana license where it borders both states. So it's a two-way, state record. And I've seen a picture of the fish, and 107 pounds is as big as a human.
Yeah.
And that's a fish.
Only weigh 130, so it's getting close to it.
Yeah, it almost caught you.
Yeah. It did. He
This
swallowed me
close.
whole.
Almost,
Yeah.
almost, just close.
I'm pretty.
It
I'm
might get
pretty.
an arm in your mouth,
I'm
but
pretty.
or it may get your arm in its mouth, but that would be about it. But no, I mean, and they say they're bigger than that. They say the divers that go down and work on the turbines at Kentucky Lake and things see fish that would be 200 pounds, but those fish are so big that if you hook them, they just sit down there, and people don't go down with the kind of tackle that you would use in saltwater or something that you can move a fish like that off the bottom.
Right.
You hook it with normal tackle, and you're not even going to know you have it, or if it's going to swim off and it'll just keep going until it takes all your line and breaks your rod or whatever. You just you don't have the tackle around here to do anything with it.
What's your favorite place? Where's your favorite fishing hole, I guess would be the word.
Is there a secret one that you don't want to tell anybody about?
Around here or anywhere in the world,
wherever.
See, I love saltwater.
Which one
I live
can
in
I walk
Indiana.
to? Which one can I drive to?
I live in Indiana, but I love to fish saltwater. So anywhere on the salt is cool. And around here, I love Kentucky Lake. I love the Ohio River. I love fishing the big dams at the Ohio River. Caught some incredible fish at those, striped bass, over 10 pounds, catfish to 40 pounds myself personally. And, largemouth, smallmouth bass. It's in those places, the variety of fish is really outstanding, and the quality of those fish can be amazing, so it's somebody asked me that question the other day. He says, the Ohio River have any fish in it? I said, oh my goodness, yes, it's an outstanding fishery.
Do you want to eat anything that comes out of the Ohio River, though?
Oh yeah, absolutely, I would.
Okay, because there's a lot of that river's got a reputation for not being clean. Let's put it that way.
Well, there are contaminants in the river, and some fish, there are consumption advisories on some of these fish, and they're very specific. It's like, say, a channel catfish over 20 pounds, you may not want to eat it because a channel catfish is a scavenger. They feed on the bottom where the sediments have the old pollutants from PCBs and things and old diesel fuel and stuff that they used to be allowed to be dumped in the Ohio River.
Mm-hmm.
So some of that stuff, it doesn't break down in 5 years. Some of it takes, hundreds or thousands of years to break down. So some of that stuff's still in the environment, and it'll come up in the fatty tissue of those bigger fish. But a small fish like, a 2-pound sauger, for instance, which is, a very good eating fish, or a crappie or a bluegill or a small bass, if I catch them out of the river and they're the right size of fillet, by all means, I will eat those fish.
You can. I'll eat them too. You call me. Call me up. Call me up. I'm ready. I'm ready. We do a fish fry. I'm ready.
The Ford fish fries.
That's right.
That's harder to say than I thought.
I don't know if I have enough in my freezer for both Jimmy and me.
Oh, you got to go fishing.
That might be.
You got to go fishing. You catch them, I'll eat them.
A little hard on my fryer, but we'll give it a shot sometime.
You catch them. I'm not doing any of the work, man. Just call me when it's done.
Steve Ford is our guest. His annual Kids Fishing Derby is coming up.
July 4th Fishing Derby for kids
at Garvin Park. Go ahead.
Saturday at 9 a.m., 9 to 11. If you can't get there on time, don't worry about it. You can come late. It's all free. You don't have to have anything with you. I mean, it helps to have a rod and reel, but if you don't, we'll hook you up with a cane pole or something. Don't let not having a fishing pole keep you from coming out. We'll get you hooked up some which way or another, and you'll have a good time, and you'll go home with something for yourself to keep.
Is there pre-registration that needs to be done so you guys have a head count, or just show up?
No, just show up.
Okay.
We just wing it, and we'll take care of whatever we get.